What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Studio B21. Now, I'm cooking a special dish from my heart today. I'm all about that Spanish flavors. I like other flavors too, but today we're hitting Spanish and some of that comfort food that they got. All right, we have some beautiful Spanish lentils with sausage and melted manchego toast. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be off the chains. All the flavors are there. You have Spanish spices, smoked paprika, red wine. What else do you need in a dish? So that being said, let's get into it.
Okay, we're starting off with one Spanish onions. We're just gonna cut that in half and then we're just gonna dice it up and set it aside. And as usual, please leave a like and subscribe. And for our full recipe details, there will be down in the description down below. So definitely check those out and follow along. Next, we're gonna roughly take some celery stalk and we're just gonna roughly chop those up and set them aside and get ready for our next ingredients. Here we have about 6-7 cloves of garlic. We're gonna take that up and we're just gonna mince that really nice and fine. Here we're gonna use some nice sun-dried tomatoes, but another option is you can use some roasted bell peppers, some fire roasted bell peppers. Alright, we're gonna grate our manchego cheese on the finest part of the grater that we have, and we're gonna set that aside for our toast a little bit later on. We're just getting some of our prepped ingredients out the way, so when we start the cooking process, everything can just go smoothly. Now that we have some of these lovely ingredients prepped and set to the side, we're gonna take our chorizo sausage and we're gonna get ready to pan sear them a little bit and get them brown and nicely colored in each side. So let's get into that. Now we're just gonna take a small medium-sized pan and we're gonna put it on the stove. And we're gonna get that up to medium heat, and we're just gonna cook our sausage on both sides for about 6 to 7 minutes until they're brown on all sides. They don't have to be fully cooked all the way through, because you're gonna finish that process when we get to all the stewing and the braising, I should say. Now that your sausage is nicely browned on all sides, you just want to transfer those back into a plate and set to the side for a second, let them cool down a little bit, and we are gonna proceed with getting our lentils cooked off with everything else. Now what you want to do after you remove the sausage is you want to add your onions to the pot with the fat from the sausage, or you can add a little bit more olive oil, depending on how much liquid is left in your pot. So you want to saute, caramelize those onions down. Once your onions are a little bit caramelized and you pull out some of those sugars out of it, you want to take your celery and add it to the pan and just give it a nice stir. Now that your celery is a little bit cooked and a little bit tender, you want to add your garlic in, and you just want to stir it around and keep cooking until you get that nice garlic fragrance coming out of your pan, and then you're going to add your next ingredient. Now that you can smell that lovely fragrance of garlic in the air, you're going to add in your sun-dried tomatoes or your fire roasted bell peppers, depending on what ingredients you decided to use. So go ahead and cook that down for about a minute or so, just to incorporate all more of those flavors, and then we're just going to add our tomato paste and cook it. Make sure you cook out your tomato paste for a good like 4 to 5 minutes. You know, you want to try to cook out some of that preservative that they put into your tomato paste, no matter what. If you're getting it for a can or you're getting it from a jar, whatever tomato paste, you just want to cook it out for a little bit so you can cook out some of that preservative. It's not good for the body. Alright, so now that your tomato paste is looking good and started to catch a little bit and brown a little bit on the bottom of your pan, you want to deglaze that pan with some of your finest red wine like I have here. You definitely know I'm going to drink the rest after, but don't worry about that. So you're going to cook that out for a minute after you add your red wine. You're just going to reduce that a little bit, and then you're going to add about 4 cups of chicken broth to your pan, and we're going to bring that up to a boil. At this point, don't worry too much about adding salt or pepper to your pan just yet, because we're going to adjust that seasoning when we get closer to the end of things, alright? So once you bring your pan to a boil, you're going to give that a nice stir, and you're going to add in your lentils. And then you're going to bring your pot back to a boil, and we're just going to add a few more ingredients before we simmer. Reduce the heat, bring it to a simmer, and just let it slowly cook. So let's get into what else we're going to add into our pan now. Already you can smell all the the flavors that's coming out of this pan is so amazing. So now that your pot has come to a boil, you're gonna add in some nice chili flakes for that little kick of heat, and some nice lovely smoked paprika. If you have it, you could just, if you don't, just use regular paprika as I do in this video. So immediately after you finish adding your smoked paprika, you just want to give your pan a mix and make sure everything is nicely incorporated as such. Alright, you just want to make sure your pan's on a medium and make sure everything's scraped from the bottom so you're not burning anything as you go along. And we're just gonna, while that's getting back up to a nice roaring boil, we are gonna prepare our sausage. Well, now that we're waiting for a pan to come back to a boil, we are going to take our sausage that we set to the side earlier, and we're just going to slice them on a diagonal. You can use whatever thickness you feel is appropriate for you. And after that, we're just going to add them back into our pan to extract some of those sausage flavors, make sure our sausage is cooked through. And yeah, we're just going to cook everything now with our lentils nice and proper like. And it's going to be beautiful. And last but not least, we are going to add some red wine vinegar to our pan, just a little bit, just for that extra kick and a little bit of more flavor. Now you just want to reduce the heat down to a nice simmer. You want to cook your lentils for about 35-45 minutes until they're nice and tender. And if you needed more liquid, just add more chicken broth as you go along. Adjust the seasoning with some salt and pepper, and you're just going to cover it with a lid very slightly and let that just simmer down until your lentils nice and tender and ready to go. In the meantime, we're going to prepare our toast. So right here I'm going to take some nice whole wheat rustic loaf, bread loaf, and we are just gonna take some nice melted, room temperature butter, garlic butter. We're gonna spread it on both sides of your bread. We're gonna sprinkle some of our Manchego cheese that we grated earlier in the video, and we're just gonna toast that. You can put your oven on the broil, stick that on a rack, put it in your oven to get a nice melted cheese on top, and then we're just gonna get ready to plate our beautiful dish right here. So stick with us throughout the video. If you like this video, again, please leave a like, share it with family and friends, and please consider subscribing. YouTube, I don't like to ask it, but YouTube really likes when we ask for that stuff. So we're a small channel, we're trying to make it out here, so definitely support us, and we'll keep bringing some beautiful recipes to you like this. So we do hope you guys come back for another video. We love having you. We love sharing these recipes with you and stuff like that. We also have our premium YouTube membership if you guys want to support us in any way. But it's not necessary. We're doing this for you and for us as a community. So but if you do join our premium membership, you can suggest recipes and other stuff, have live chat with us, get to know the team, get in our Discord groups, and have many more discussions there. So we have all those perks and more. So glad to have you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Peace.